Hey y'all, what's going on? I'm here for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 9, episode 12. You guys just continue to be patient with me and everything. I just got back in town yesterday, and like I told you guys before, I was really close with my granddad, and it's very hard when you lose somebody close to you, and then on top of that, when their death was unexpected. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard, and I'm still just trying to deal with it and, trying to cope with it and everything. But it really is hard, But you guys just be patient with me. I'm trying to get, things back on track. But anyways, we start the episode off with Kenya and Phaedra meeting up at this store in regards to the camping trip, or as Phaedra would call it, the glamping trip. And also we get a cross scene with Portia meeting up with her anger management coach, and she's telling him about the dinner with the girls the other night or whatever, and how she felt ambushed and blase blase. So Kenya and Phaedra, Kenya and Phaedra, they're talking about the dinner as well. And Kenya's sitting up here saying, well, obviously the anger management isn't working if she can't share. I said, no, Kenya, it's none of your business. Like, it's none of your business. Like, why does she gotta share her personal shit with you, or shit that she don't feel comfortable sharing with y'all? What the fuck? Like, girl, bad. But anyway, so Portia, she talks about how she felt like Phaedra didn't have her back or whatever. And Phaedra does feel like that Portia's being attacked, and Kenya feels like it's bullshit. Portia, she's telling her coach that, she asked them, was they scared of her or whatever. And, next thing you know, Candy start popping off on her and everything. And, she was like, in that moment, all I could do was just walk out because I didn't know what else to do. And Portia's, still saying that she doesn't know what Candy's deal is or whatever. Once again, y'all just had y'all issue, when y'all had that conversation that day and everything. So it's still tension from that situation. But like I said before, it stems back further than that with, Portia and Candy. I feel like Candy been, it's been a build-up. You know what I'm saying? Because as I told you guys before, when Candy and Phaedra first started having issues or whatever in their friendship, Portia just completely took Phaedra's side as if she wasn't friends with Candy too. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the issue stemmed back further than that conversation that them two had along with Sheree that day. But anyway, so Portia is not sure she wants to go on the trip or whatever, but her coach is telling her that, I think you should go, but make sure you bring somebody, to be your support system on the trip. So Cynthia, she meets up with Matt to have a conversation with him in regards to his relationship with Kenya or whatever. And Cynthia lets him know right off the bat that the relationship is not healthy or whatever. And Cynthia, she pulls out her old notebook like she a therapist for real, so she could bullet point some shit that Matt is saying, so she could bring it back to Kenya or whatever, and try to get some type of common ground between them. So he's saying that, there's no respect, there's no communication. And he's saying that, that everything is his fault. Like, I guess, in regards to his anger management, his anger or whatever. Cynthia admits that Kenya can be, quite the drama queen and everything. Why did she say that? We're going to talk about that later on in the episode. But, later on in the video or whatever. But, she also tells Matt that, you could be a drama king and everything. And, he doesn't know what he wants to do, but he's still in love with Kenya, so that pretty much was their conversation and everything. So, Candy, she throws I believe a surprise engagement party for Shamia or whatever. Cynthia, Sheree, and Marlo, they show up, but apparently they didn't get the memo to wear all white or whatever to the event. She didn't invite, Kenya or Phaedra because she knows that Shamia doesn't get along with neither one of them. When Sheree and, Marlo and Cynthia shows up, Sheree is saying that Portia might not, be coming because of the situation that happened at the dinner the other night. Candy is confused, she's like, her, what happened between me and her should not affect her coming to support, Shamia. And Shamia is supposed to be her best friend and everything, and that's fucked up. And I agree or whatever, you know what I'm saying, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Shamia, she finally shows up and everything, and Sheree gonna sit up here talking about something. I feel like it would be, inappropriate to bring up the rumor about, Candy and Shamia fucking, right now and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I mean, what has stopped you what's stopping you now, Sheree? You know what I'm saying? Like, any other time you ask about some shit that you heard. So, I mean, what the hell, I was just like, okay, I mean, I guess, but, so Shamia, she asks about Portia and everything, and Candy, she breaks the news or whatever. Shamia, she starts to tear up or whatever, and Sheree is saying that Portia, didn't want anything to happen or whatever. That's why she didn't come, and next thing they go upstairs and everything to have a little bit more of a private conversation amongst each other or whatever. Candy, she brings up the dinner to Shamia or whatever about what happened and everything, and Shamia is like, why is Phaedra, talking about Portia behind her back or whatever, talking about Portia to Kenya and everything or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Sheree, she brings up the lunch that she had with Phaedra and Portia, and how Phaedra said that Shamia fucked everybody's husband in Atlanta and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, but you could bring up this, but you ain't want to bring up the rumor about Candy and Shamia fucking. I mean, you might as well just have told it all. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Lay it all the fuck out there. I'm just saying, But anyway, so Shamia is like, well, if that was the case, I could have had Apollo or whatever, because he surely made plenty of passes at me and everything. And Shamia is like, she knew Faye before she was this so-called Southern Belle or whatever. And they like, well, what was she before, whatever. And Shamia was like, pretty much saying that she used to give head a lot or whatever. I guess you could say, kind of, confirming what Nene said a long time ago about Phaedra being the head doctor or whatever. But anyway, so Shamia asks, if Portia said anything like to come to her defense or whatever, and Sheree was like, nah, Portia didn't say nothing. And they played the tape back or whatever. Shamia is over it because when she was talking about Phaedra, Portia was quick to come to Phaedra's defense and everything, but she not quick to come to, hers, and, she's supposed to be her best friend and all this other stuff. So I felt where Shamia was coming from on that, you know what I'm saying? But, anyways, moving on from that, because, yeah, Portia, she was quick to come to, Phaedra's defense or whatever, but, she ain't say shit, in regards to Shamia when, Phaedra was talking shit about her. But anyway, so we get Cynthia and Kenya. They're at Cynthia's house, her new house, the lake house or whatever. Kenya, she got her dogs pooping all outside Cynthia's lawn and shit. I'm like, well, damn. I'm like, Cynthia, can she get settled in first before you have these dogs pooping all over the place and shit? But anyways, Cynthia, she's telling her about her conversation that she had with Matt or whatever, and pretty much she's saying, Matt feels like every reaction from him is, because of Kenya's actions or whatever, this, that, and the third. Kenya, she's automatically on the defense, and she's like, does that sound like a sane person to you or whatever? And Cynthia's like, no, it doesn't, and Kenya's saying that it's bullshit or whatever, and that she's dating the child or whatever. I said, yeah, you're right, you are dating the child, but yet you continue to deal with the foolishness. But anyway, so Cynthia's pretty much telling Kenya what she said or whatever. And, she was, she tells her how, she called Kenya kind of dramatic or whatever. Kenya, starts to get she just automatically goes off the hinges or whatever. She doesn't even let Cynthia complete her full thought or whatever on everything that she said, you know what I'm saying? And, Cynthia's like, I did defend you and everything. I told Matt that the shit that he was doing is unacceptable, and they played the tape back, and Cynthia, she did come to her defense and everything. And it's like, I mean, but Cynthia is telling the truth or whatever. So Kenya, she automatically walks off or whatever, and just being dramatic, like Cynthia said, proving Cynthia's point or whatever. And I guess she still has trust issues about that time that Cynthia kind of denied their friendship and everything. And it's like, I mean, I understand that, but Kenya, your problem is when somebody says something you don't like, you don't want to hear that person's complete thought. You just automatically go off the hinges and everything, and don't let that person get out everything that they have to say. And it's just like, I mean, like I said, you just proved Cynthia's point. You are dramatic. You are dramatic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, her being your friend, she should be able to be honest with you and keep it stacked. Like, bitch, you is dramatic. Like, but anyways, so we get Portia and Shamia. Portia, she shows up to Shamia's house bringing a gift or whatever, due to the fact that she wasn't there at the engagement party and everything. Portia saying that she didn't want to be around Candy, and how Candy disrespected her and all this other stuff, and she didn't know if it was going to be like an ambush situation again. And Shamia's like, but yeah, it wasn't about Candy though, it was about me. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, if Phaedra threw something or whatever for you, I would have been there for you and everything, because it's about you. Portia, she's still making excuses or whatever. Shamia, she brings up what Sheree said to her about what Phaedra said about her and everything. And Portia's sitting up here acting dumb or whatever, and she's like, but I don't remember Phaedra saying that or whatever. I'm just like, and they rolled the tape back. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And Portia didn't say shit. And Shamia is like, she always had Portia's back and everything. Whenever somebody talks shit about her, they roll the tape back. It was a lot of rolling the tape back in this episode. They rolled the tape back of that time where Shamia defended Portia against Don Juan. You know what I'm saying? And Portia is like, well, I mean, y'all both been, slinging mud or whatever, but Shamia, you slung mud first. Okay, what's the point? The point is, like you said, you're both of their friends, but you only defended one. You only defended Phaedra. You didn't come to Shamia's defense when Phaedra said what she said about Shamia. That's the whole point here. Like, yeah, they both been, saying shit about each other, but you only defended one friend in that situation, and that's why shit look real sketchy right about now with that whole shit or whatever. But Shamia brings up, Shamia is telling Portia to be careful with Phaedra, because she brings up how Candy, with Candy and Phaedra was close, how Phaedra used to call Portia dumb and stupid and all this other stuff. They roll the tape back of Phaedra, throwing shade at Portia and everything. And Portia's like, well, I didn't witness that and all this other stuff, blase blase. Moving on from that, we get Kenya and Cynthia and Sheree and Marlo. Kenya's having, like, her crew that's whoever that's supposed to be meeting up for the glamping trip. Sheree has her crew of who's supposed to be meeting up at her house for the glamping trip and everything. And Kenya, she's talking to Cynthia and everything about, the last time they saw each other. Pretty much Kenya just wants to know if Cynthia has her back and everything. And, Cynthia's like, yeah, of course I have your back or whatever, this, that, and the third, this, whatever. And that pretty much was that with them as far as, that particular situation. The girls don't know that Marlo is supposed to be coming or whatever. Phaedra, she shows up to Kenya's house. Cynthia wants to know if Portia is going to come, and Phaedra, she thinks so, but she's not too sure or whatever. She didn't get a definite yes from Portia. Portia shows up to Sheree's house or whatever with Lauren surprising Sheree and everything, because they wasn't sure if Portia was going to come. But yeah, Portia brings her sister Lauren with her. You know, Sheree is still throwing shade at Kenya or whatever, this, that, and the third. I'm like, but bitch, you're having your snacks and shit outside on your front lawn, while the people that's meeting up at Kenya's house is able to lounge around and, you know, do whatever in her motherfucking house. Like, Sheree, just, girl, I can't, you know what I'm saying? So, anyways, Portia pulls Sheree to the side or whatever, to talk to her about, you know, what she told Shamia. And, you know, Sheree feels like, you know, what we shared with Phaedra, what was said about her from Shamia. So I feel like Shamia should know what's being said about her too and everything. And, you know, Sheree was like, yeah, Candy and all them was around or whatever. And Portia, she feels like it's just awkward. She feels like she's in the middle and everything, this, that, and the third, because they both her friends or whatever. And Sheree, she lets it be known in her confessional, like, well, y'all need to stop talking about each other behind each other's backs or whatever. Sheree got a point there. She got a point there. I mean, Sheree, you still messy though, but you got a point there. Just saying. But anyway, so pretty much they good on that situation or whatever. There's no major beef between them on that. Candy, she shows up and she brings her friend Hazel. And Hazel, we saw her earlier on in the episode at Shamia's you know, engagement party or whatever. So Phaedra, she's like, I don't recall telling the girls that they can invite Lottie Dottie and everybody, you know what I'm saying? And Phaedra, she lets it be known that they're going to camp outside or whatever, but the next day or whatever, that's when they're going to start their whole glamming stuff or whatever. But, you know, the first day that, you know, they're going to thug it out or whatever. The bus shows up, or the shuttle bus or whatever you want to call it, they show up to Kenya's house first, and they got to drag their luggage up the driveway or whatever, because Kenya's shit is so steep or whatever. They gotta drag their shit up the driveway. Sheree is asking, you know, Portia, where's Phaedra at? And Portia's like, well, she better not be at Kenya's house and everything. And I'm just like, oh Lord, here we go with that. But they're all on the bus at this point and everything. You know, Kenya's just like, oh my God, because she see Marlo and Portia on the bus. Portia's like, you know, she says to Phaedra, I thought that, you know, you were going to come to Sheree's house and everything. And Kenya's like, well, she wanted to come to mine, so whatever, this, that, and the third. Phaedra is telling them about the first night or whatever. Marlo, she's already over it, because, you know, she's Miss, you know, glamorous or whatever. She's just like, nope, I'm over it. Pull me off at the next stop and everything. Marlo, she's talking about how she's gonna have like a segment or whatever where they could talk about you know, ask her about fashion and men and all this other stuff. Now, I mean, I would ask Marlo about, you know, fashion tips or whatever, but about men, yeah, I don't know about that. So then Hazel, she's like, she says to Kenya, why are we asking her for advice or whatever? And I don't know why. I just started laughing real hard, because this is the way she said it. She just said it so, you know, nice and sweet, like, why are we asking her for advice? Like, you know. And you know, Kenya, she repeats what Hazel said to Marlo or whatever. Marlo thinks that, you know, Marlo's like, well, I think I'm more fashion forward than you are, don't you think, or whatever. And Hazel's like, I mean, I'm just asking, like, it's not that serious or whatever. And Marlo's like, okay, well, you have nice skin, so, you know, if I needed some advice on skincare, I would ask you, or something like that, she was saying. And, you know, Hazel's like, oh, thanks or whatever. And Marlo was like, that shit was funny. But anyway, so Cynthia, she's asking Lauren, is she supposed to be backup for Portia or whatever? You know, Portia's like, you know, I got my doctor's note or whatever. She pulls out this note and this doctor's note or whatever. Phaedra is reading the note and whatever. And, you know, Candy, she's just rolling her eyes and throwing all this unnecessary shade. And, you know, they starting up with the bullshit. They feel like it's BS and everything. Hazel, she's like, you know, are you under emotional distress that you feel like that you need to have you know, support and everything. And Portia is like, you know, yeah, you know, I'm open about my anger management and all this other stuff. Candy and Kenya, they're like, you know, well, you wasn't open the other day and all this other stuff. And, you know, Portia is like, well, it's the way you guys went about it and everything. And, I mean, y'all did kind of, you know, I mean, although Candy, I do feel like you did ask her calmly about the shit. But at the same time, that shit did seem like it just came the fuck out of nowhere. And just, you know, the constant, then, you know, Kenya following behind her outside the goddamn restaurant, you know, keep on fucking testing her. Like, I mean, you know, like, what the fuck, you know? But anyway, so, Portia, I guess, yeah. She said, you know, she said all that and everything. Candy says that it's bullshit or whatever. And Lauren, she was like, you know, well, maybe if you can let her speak and everything, and maybe be a little empathetic towards her feelings, then, you know, we can go from there or whatever. And, you know, Candy was, you know, she was on hush mode a little bit. I was like... But anyway, so Portia, she's trying to finish her thoughts or whatever. You know, and she lets it be known that she feels like Kenya provoked everything and all this other stuff. And, you know, Candy says that they all been in uncomfortable situations, but they handled it like adults. I said, really, Candy? Yeah, everybody on this show has not always handled situations in a very adult manner. Y'all all have handled some shit in a very immature way at one point in time on this show. So, like, I was like, Candy girl, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just kept on rolling my eyes at Candy a little bit because I was just like, girl. But anyways, so Candy also says that, you know, Portia had an attitude right off the bat or whatever, which I agree. Portia, you know, she did kind of seem on the defense a little bit, but I guess she probably knew where the fuck the conversation was going to go. But anyways, Portia and Kenya, they start going back and forth with they bullshit or whatever. Phaedra tries to interject and everything, and it's more going back and forth, whatever, and that's where the episode left off, to be continued. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys come back, and I'll see you guys in the next video.